Hey team, welcome to Tom's Takeaways, episode number 3, The Art of Saying No. Now, saying no is really a skill, and it's one that people pleasers and Brits like me could really do with learning. Now, if you're a yes person, if you're someone that says, oh, leave it with me, I can totally do that next week at 7 a.m., then this video is probably going to be helpful. I was that person really until I got into the book Essentialism and learned some of the skills therein. And the key thing is, if you don't say no to other people, they will just keep filling your time with their priorities. So it's really important to set these boundaries by learning the skill of saying no. And it's doing it for me without being a bit of a... without being rude, I suppose, and just being simple and clear so that I'm not hurting anyone's feelings, but I'm standing up for myself. What I loved about this idea in the book is that it's really human. You know, we all at times struggle with saying no. Perhaps people catch us at a moment where we're really happy and we're just saying yes to everything. And it's especially important, like I said, if you're a people pleaser, or British, or both, then learning to say no with kindness and clarity is a great skill. In the book, one of the lines that Greg McKeown says is, remember that every yes is a trade-off. And it's not just about what you're agreeing to, but what you're sacrificing. You know, the sacrifice of your time and your focus, your energy. And that really landed a lot for me, because I felt that in a lot of what I was doing. You know, I was saying yes to social things I didn't really want to do, carpentry projects that I don't know why I ever said yes, or just these random favors. And I was doing, there was a particular job that I was doing, and I just thought, why did I ever say yes to this? What possessed me? And just out of habit of responding yes to everything and being a people pleaser. And so I started to say instead, let me get back to you, you know, just to give me space in that request. I'll just check my diary. And then I would come back to them and say, look, I can't actually do that. And I wouldn't give a reason. I would just be polite, and they would respect it. And over time, I started to use simple things of, you know, thanks for thinking of me, but I won't be able to do that. And I didn't feel like I needed to give any reason or excuse. Because saying no is about boundaries, and it's about honesty. You're respecting yourself and your time, and you're showing up in life as someone who says, you know, does what they say. And people respect that. When you're able to say no with kindness, you respect yourself and they respect you for that. You're not flaky, you're just real. And those people who don't get it are probably not people that you want in your life. Now, for you, perhaps a takeaway and a small practice could be, when you get your next request, just to pause and literally take a breath. In that moment, ask, do I want to do this? Is this essential? And if it's a no, then just say, thank you for asking me, but I'm going to pass. And that's it. No reason, no excuses, simple, kind, no guilt, just to the point. See how that feels, see what opens up for you, and just keep trying to do that as you go through the days. That is it for this week's Essentialism takeaway. Next week, we'll wrap up with the big one, designing a life that is intentional. If you enjoyed this episode, please share it, subscribe, do all those fancy things, and don't miss the next one. And thanks again for tuning in.